Debra Wallace, licensed marriage and family therapist. Today, my positive reframe is on sibling conflict. And I would like to reframe sibling conflict to opportunities to build connection and practice conflict resolution skills with someone who is different from us and feels like a threat to us. When you look at our society, including the divorce rate, I can assure you that our society would benefit from taking the time to practice conflict resolution skills. Just because you have the same blood doesn't mean you get along. And I get why parents want that. And of course, you just want your kids to get along. And you're so busy, you often don't have time, it just makes things easier. Why wouldn't they want to make things easier, you know? Doesn't that make sense? And yes, from the parent's point of view, I get that. However, this is why I promote child development, understanding of child development, especially the first 6 years, so sensitive and vulnerable and critical to the integration of a healthy nervous system. And when we perceive a threat, which just takes 1/8 of a second for our nervous system to perceive a threat, real or imagined. However, in this case, it really is. Every child, you have, are vying for what you provide. All the love, attention, nurturance, whether physical or emotional, they are literally vying for that from you with their siblings. And so it is a threat, absolutely, for them. And it saddens me how dismissive we are to children. When you step into their shoes, it's a big deal. And these first, doing this in the first years of their life, really taking the time to acknowledge their feelings and sit with them is really key, and to help them. Because the good news is when you take this time, we actually are innately intelligent. Like when done in this supportive, positive, nurturing way, we actually will access our prefrontal cortex, which is up here, our smart files, and we will know what to do and be able to problem solve and plan accordingly. Yet that takes time. I think it's a drawback in our society that we're just 24/7 stimulation, and we tend to want, it's kind of feeding that desire for instant gratification, when in human development, that's not the case. We actually grow much more organically, wildly, messy. It's much more of a messy process, and it takes more time. And it takes on average 20 minutes for a nervous system to feel calm and regulated once it's been activated. And so a parent rushing in and saying, you do that, stop doing that, you should know better, say you're sorry, like those are just more demands. And then also if you're starting to threaten and remove things, now every child wants to please their parent and wants your love. And so now you've just added another threat. And so you're really just adding gasoline to the situation, to their brains, to the family dynamics, and things are not going to get better. And so my number one tip is to pause. Like when you hear the screech, the tip is to pause. Like when you yell, notice the sensations, the thoughts, the feelings that coming up inside of you. Pause, listen, breathe, and again, make sense that you want harmony. Absolutely. Of course, you might need to get somewhere. This is not the right time for it. Absolutely, totally valid. And breathe. And the coping thought would normally be something like, this is not an emergency. Feels, after we know that, it's okay. It makes sense that they're fighting. I can handle this. We got this. Now, the tricky part is most of us have not been given this when our brain was developing, so we often don't feel like we do have it under control and that this is an emergency. So it's kind of a tricky situation, which why I promote this work of first doing this for yourself. And I do have a video where I talk about the ABCs, acknowledge, breathe, coping, thought, that explains the neuroscience behind this process. And that would be my first step, is to, again, connect to yourself. Because as I've mentioned, we're fighting, the children are fighting for resources. And I'm trained in marriage and family therapy. It's systems training. And again, every helping professional has their value. The unique lens with systems theory is there's this awareness that, well, number one, there's a whole system within ourselves. Like, we have parts in ourselves that are often polarizing and like, oh, I should do this. Oh, I don't know if I should do that. I'm internal family systems informed. Won't go there. It's a whole other talk yet. Many talks yet. We have this. So we first need to address the system with us, and then there's all the systems we interact with. So there's microsystems, which is like our peer group, our family, our school. And as the systems get bigger, those are macro systems, like the culture and the world and all those. And then the earth, the universe, there's all these systems that interact, and how you are in your system is going to affect how you come into those systems and affect change, and all those systems are going to affect us. So that's a brief description of that. And why my best advice to everyone is first focus on your system, because as you create peace and ease in your own internal system, then that's going to radiate and permeate in every system that you're in. And so, number one, attend to your needs. Acknowledge needs, fears, breathe, and do something to get your vital needs met. And again, I like to teach simple ways to do that, because yes, there's a lot going on yet. But it's why it's more important that we need to keep doing this, because life is bombarding us with so much stimulation all the time that we're not actually giving attention to the fundamental aspects of our life, like that will help ease all these things. So it's like, go, go, go. Yet we need to take this opportunity to connect with ourselves and connect with our children. So then the next step, number two, when you go to the children, is to apply that same awareness of acknowledging their fears and cares and needs, and listening to what happened from their view, as well as then, breathing again. Don't ever again. You can't just come in and say, take deep breaths, go do this. Because again, it takes on average 20 minutes for a nervous system to calm. And when we perceive a threat, we're going to go to fight, flight, or freeze. So you need to go into that space knowing that your children's brains are on fire and they're under threat. And we need to do things that we're going to help soothe them, which is why I wrote my book, is because each child's different. So one may need different things. And ideally, it would be nice if we could do that all together. And that's why I recommend the strategy called sports casting, where you're like literally going in there and just and this is kind of giving space so that everyone can hear what's going on. So like you walk into the room and you say, wow, I see so-and-so's face is red. I noticed that there's a paper all torn up over here. What happened? And then they're like, oh, wait, oh, I want to hear both of you. You want to come in knowing that you have amazing, that they're good. You want to go in with the assumption that they're good and that we are capable human beings. And you go in there and lovable. And so you go in there and wait, I want to hear you both. Wait, I can't hear. So then the third is we need limits. We need boundaries. Children do need, that actually helps. I like to teach the 4 S's. We need to feel safe, seen, soothed, and secure. We all have these needs. And then that's why I mentioned those ABCs. As you're validating your own feelings, that's going to, and you're soothing yourself, getting your vital needs met, that's what helps calm the nervous system. And so then you're doing that same thing for your children. And as you're narrating, you're setting boundaries and limits, because they do need it. They're all shaken up. Limits actually provide structure and safety and security. And so they need a confident, secure parent, regulated parent coming in and creating some order and some structure. And so that comes by saying, okay, wait, okay, I have 2, I'm one mom, I'm one parent, I have 2 kids yelling at me, I can't hear you, I want to hear you. Let's go to you first. Let's go to you. And then you need to create some structure and limits around that. And this is where you also assert the values is choose. In our family, we don't hit, we don't hurt one another. And it's okay to set those limits. It's okay to this is the beautiful thing about acknowledging and validating feelings and needs, is you can do that and still set limits on the behavior. That's okay. Yet I just want to encourage, we often need more time to let out the feelings, the negative, say the negative things, and the parent kind of holding space, trusting, knowing their child's light, trusting and believing the good, the inherent good. And yeah, it's hard to hear. I'll validate as a parent. It's hard to hear your child say, "I hate you. I want to do." Yet I assure you, they really don't. They don't like this either. They don't want to feel that way. They don't want to. Okay. And again, I know it might seem like they really do want to, and there is some validity to that, because again, a child, everyone needs connection. And so when they're not getting the connection that feels good and warm and fuzzy inside, they're going to also activate negative attention to get that connection, that need met. And so that's why it can feel a little confusing and seem like they are doing it intentionally, because ultimately they need connection. They want your attention. They want your energy. And so they'll pick negative energy over no energy. And so that's where it can be a little confusing. However, so those are like my 3 main tips. Is number 1, always first go to you, acknowledge, breathe, some kind of coping thought to help bring security, soothe inside yourself, then go to your children. And if it's, sometimes that might resolve by then, if you trust them and believe, it might, a lot of times it can just resolve. However, often, many times, as they're still young, their brain is developing, they do absolutely still need some support here. And so then you would go and then you would do the same, acknowledging, role modeling, getting vital needs met, finding ways to help them feel safe, seen, soothed, and secure. And then finally, you're going to need to set some limits and communicate boundaries and limits to keep everyone safe. It is really difficult. I get it. However, it is vital. I appreciate you listening. And if you have any other topics you'd like a positive reframe on, please leave in the comment section, and continue to follow, as I have many tips on how to promote healthy relationships, well-being, and make repairs when ruptures happen, because it's normal. And we need these opportunities. When ruptures happen, fighting happens, there are opportunities to connect, as well as practice skills for conflict resolution and find mutually satisfying ways to get our vital needs met. Take wonderful care.